Hey everyone, it's me Caitlin and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a memory keeping spread in my paper house planner, and let's just jump right into it. To do this spread, I took a few sheets from the Be Happy paper pad and I am going ahead and measuring up certain pieces to cover up the rest of the planner. I decided to take this particular sheet so I can cover up the header, and then I'm going to go ahead and use this sheet to go ahead and cover up the sidebar. Because we're kind of doing a scrapbooking layout in the planner, I try to cover up as much as possible. Now that my marks are made, I am going ahead and cutting these sheets to where I need them to be. This particular piece I needed to cut twice because there was a specific portion that I wanted to use to cover up the header. Now that I have the height that I need to go ahead and measure out the width, and I did that for the first side and then I went back and measured out the other side. Now that I have these to the correct size that I need, I am taking my Tombow tape runner and I'm going ahead and applying that to the back of the paper and putting it where I need to be. To make sure that I get it lined up, I do like to flip my planner around and having it face me so I get the lines as clean and as close to the edge as possible. I also recommend using the removable adhesive for this versus the permanent. This way if you mess it up, you can take it and move it. I decided to go back in and remeasure this because the length of the header wasn't as long as I needed it to be. So I decided to extend the sidebar just to be a little bit higher than it originally was. The original idea I had for this was I wanted to measure this out and have it be in a wavy pattern, which I started to do, but it did not come out that way at the end. You'll see. So what I decided to do was I tried to measure up the width as best as possible, and then I decided to cut the pattern that I wanted. Now that I have that pattern done, I'm going ahead and cutting the paper down to the correct widths that I had and sizing that up to make sure that it fit in the spots that I wanted it to go. Happy with the way that it looks, I decided to finally take my Tombow tape runner and go ahead and put on the adhesive in the most craziest manner possible to make sure that it stays down. At this point, I ran into a slight standstill where I wasn't quite sure what direction I wanted to go. At this point, I realized that the spread I was trying to do was not coming out the way that I wanted it to, but I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to actually do. I was originally going to include some sticker elements, but the stickers that I wanted to use I realized would not fit in as well as I thought they would. So for the time being, I decided to put them off to the side and check out how my pictures were going to fit in. And then I had an idea. I decided to go back in with that original header piece that I had cut originally and go back in and add some more to cover the dates. At this point, I decided that I wanted to make this a no white space spread, and I went ahead with this original sheet and I decided to cut it down as best as possible. Once again, I started with the width because I knew that would be the easiest to match up versus the height. The left side was really easy to match up because the lines were almost perfect, but this side, not so much. Getting the right side to line up correctly was a little bit of trial and error, but luckily because the pattern is mostly the same throughout this page, I was able to get it almost seamless by the end of this whole entire process. I have to admit I was super apprehensive at this point because I wasn't sure how the lines were going to show, but luckily the left side came out really, really nice. This right side did not come out as smooth and seamless as the left, but that's okay. What we're going to do is we are going to see how these sprocket photos line up and figure out how to cover up the right side as best as possible. So once again, I am going in with this paper and I am creating a little bit of a backdrop for the photos. I wasn't sure how many I was going to use, so I did cut 3 pieces just so I had them available. I once again decided to double check placement and decided to opt for this pattern for this photo. I decided I didn't want to go too crazy with this particular pattern, so I decided to find a different pattern to use. I completely fell in love with these black and white polka dots, and I thought they would provide a really great contrast to the rest of the page, just because it was a pattern that I hadn't used and it would help make everything else pop once it was put down. Now that all of my photos have backers, I'm going in and double checking the placement of the photos just to try and cover up the lines as best as possible. I knew I wanted to journal a little bit for this spread, and I was trying to find the perfect card to go ahead and put this in. And then I noticed this one particular rectangle at the top of this particular sheet, and I decided that this was the one that I wanted to use. After cutting the journaling card, I went in once more just to double check the placement of everything, and after being content with the placement that I have, I decided to go ahead and put on the adhesive and start to put the rest of the spread together. This was around the time that my camera decided to die, but I did also add in the Insta Love sticker and the bird sticker, which came from the paper pack as well. And now I'm just going ahead and adding in my little journal entry for this day. And let me tell you, for our first Valentine's Day, this day was insane. But I wouldn't change it for the world. And here is the finished project. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!